Sit back, relax a little bit. Let me tell you a story. See if yours is anything like mine. Remember when I was a kid? So much better when I popped the lid. Feel the rap or open it up.
Exactly, listen to Sean. Right, and Cash Out's the easy way to get money transferred when you're out with friends. So pick up into that and then we'll get back to it.
He said, baby, jump in the back, boy. Tailgate crazy.
Tailgate crazy. What's up, everybody? It's Sunday night, so you know what that means. Another exciting episode of Fantasy Reports. I know we switched it up last week and we came out on Tuesday, but that was fun. That was a fun episode. We had the fictional quarterback ranking, so it's only right to switch that up. But we are back, and tonight we have a fun, exciting episode. We're doing mock draft number duo 2 of the Fantasy Reports Football League. So we have special guests. Mike, what's up, my dude?
Hey, what's going on? Glad to be here.
Heck yeah, fantasy gurus coming on the station between him and Justin. I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm going to keep up, but it's going to be fun. What up, Justin?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks, Ed. I'm just hanging out, ready to get this mock draft started and keeping this off-season rolling.
There we go. What up, Jamie?
I like
Hey,
that.
come join us next time for the next mock draft. We'll probably get I'd say probably at least 2 more in before we get rolling, hopefully, right? Our draft isn't until the last week in, August?
Yeah, it's right before things get all fired away and started up.
Yeah, so guys, we got a fun episode tonight. We're doing the mock draft, the second mock draft in the Fantasy Reports Fantasy Football League. I'm sorry, watching the game too. You know, it's NBA playoffs for the game on too.
Bus driver's not on his eyes on the road.
Right, man. So we got 2.0 fantasy draft. It's gonna be fun tonight. And then we got Justin's question of the week. We'll try to get to later as well. What is your top flex fantasy option? So that one option after your starters on your team, who's that one top option you're always rolling out and you're quick to roll out? And then I had a question too after your starters on your team. I have to find my question. I had it somewhere. I think it was just your top tight end. Your top tight ends. What tight ends are you looking at this fantasy season? Because I feel like, hey man, there was a few drafted that could jump up the charts, especially if we see some quarterback movement. So I want to see what you guys are thinking and what we're talking about. Who's going to be this year's Brock Bowers? But before that, we have our mock draft. Should be fun. Dun, dun, dun.
Once again, we have some auto draft fillers. So as you see the teams developing going in this mock draft, just bear with us. There's some auto drafts, so they're just going off of the ADP rankings.
Yep. So they'll just be picking in. So you'll just see some pick them and go picks. It'll be interesting to see though, right? How it falls. And then I think we're sprinkled in there throughout. It's going to be a 10-person draft. We decided to stick with it. So you know what? You guys chime in too. You know, if you feel you want to see someone drafted, maybe we'll get you on there.
Oh, Jamie's looking for the link.
Hold on. We'll drop that link. We'll get you in, bro.
Started.
And anybody in the chat, if you had a sleeper,
you want to jump in, you know,
app and you
I
want
tried to put it out there, but
this,
not.
That auto draft be jacking me up all the time.
I know, because especially when it's like 2 or 3 in a row, right? Because just like I don't know, it just picks the players you want
straight down the list. Like there's
nothing special about it, right?
No, there's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, so there's that link for you. I just dropped it right there. That sleeper link. Get on in there, Jamie.
Get on in there, guys. Fill it up, and we'll draft together as this goes along.
Yeah, we'll get the drafting going together, and then you know what? We'll go ahead and get some promos in really quick, as we do anyway. We'll get a couple of those in, and then hopefully we can get Jamie joining in there. Keep an eye on that, and then
there he is.
Get it going. Is he in there? Hey.
Yeah.
There we go. Got one more. So shoot, 4 out of 10. That ain't bad. That's a pretty good ratio.
With us, drop it on in.
I don't know. I'm no college person or smart guy, as they would say, but I think 4 out of 10 is pretty decent. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's go ahead and get this promo going, and then we'll get back to it and get it rolling into the draft really quick, guys.
Yes, sir.
luck, everyone here. Oh my Lord, who is this? Joe Burrow! Joe Burrow! AFC North smoked it right here, baby. Fanatics, authenticated Joe Burrow on the speed. Incredible hit. Going to Alpha Wolf. Congratulations, Alpha.
Yes, sir. Let's get it, guys. So we got Jamie in there. Looks like we're filling up. Anybody else want to jump in? You see that link on the YouTube channel? Go ahead and click that link, and you can jump in probably, throughout the mock draft. It's a mock, so it ain't that serious.
Yeah, make it fun. They can take over for the computers.
Right? I did it 3 minutes a pick. You think we should do it maybe 5 minutes a pick or 3? I think 3 minutes is good. That's a
we'll see how it goes.
Good amount of time for sure. So yeah, guys, we'll go ahead, get right into it. All you guys out there watching, hey, Axeman Football just joined us on Instagram.
Hell yeah.
Shout that out. There we go. Hey, but here we go, guys. Go ahead and start this draft. Actually, I guess Jamar Chase will be number 1, right? If we're going off the rankings, I was gonna say
off of ADP,
yeah. So hope you guys didn't want him.
I did. I was gonna get him at 10.
Never.
I thought he would drop.
One day.
Yeah, and this is what is
it? Jefferson. Wow, whoa! We got surprised by number 1.
Wow!
Wow! That's a
shock. He was like, "Yeah, okay, up yours, buddy." Show you how to do that.
Don't know.
Wow!
I would have chose Chase though.
Well, you can probably get him at 10 at this rate, right?
Yeah, you might actually be able to do that.
Mike did some voodoo to it or something. I don't know what that was, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, Justin, what are you thinking with your number 2, Saquon? Was your dog all last season?
Saquon or Chase?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I gotta just go with the PPR machine, the big ceiling play, and go with Chase. He's gonna get a bunch of targets again. He's got an offense that doesn't have a defense behind him, so they're gonna have to put up points to stay in games. And as long as he's healthy and Burrow's healthy, he's gonna have a top 3, top 5 season, I feel.
I would have took Chase over Barkley too.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be hard for Barkley to have a repeat season. Anybody with that many touches and that great, he's still gonna do good, but I don't think it's gonna be a repeat.
I think if I was close to where it said is picking, I would go Barkley, but obviously team 3 took him. But
yeah, I think 3, 4, or 5 is a good spot for him.
Yeah,
but I would almost rather go with one of those younger backs.
Possibly. So, what'd you end up going with here?
Puka.
Why do you like? What do you like about Puka? What's
Nothing. He's a starting wide receiver over there, and Matt Stafford has something to prove this year after he went through that whole debacle to get that raise.
I'm curious to know because Stafford's get up there in age. Mm-hmm. He has missed some games in the past. How do you feel that affects Puka's fantasy value for 2025 if Stafford were to miss time?
Ooh, who's the backup for Stafford? That's a darn good question.
Oh, I don't know. That is a good question.
Backup for Stafford? Oh,
yeah.
Usually I know this kind of stuff.
You're supposed to know this, man. This is why we bring you on. What the heck? Garoppolo?
That's why I said I probably
still got
would have went.
Jamie knows this.
Yeah, Jamie. Ooh, wow. I don't know.
Wait, who Jamie go? Bijan? That was a good pick, Jamie.
Good. Yeah, actually, I like that.
Crazy
pick
you're able to get Bijan. Actually, I think that late. I think.
Garoppolo was terrible.
Oh yeah, there's Garoppolo too.
Yeah.
So, are you worried at all, Seth, if Stafford were to go down? Do you think that would change your outlook on Puka, or you think he's pretty fine?
Because they got to throw the ball, and he's proven he's the number 1. And he's a true number 1 with what's-his-face over in Seattle.
So if we're going by this draft, said you like him over Amon-Ra St. Brown and Malik Neighbors and Nico Collins?
Well, it said Amon-Ra St. Brown was questionable. So I was like, Puka's not questionable for once. Let me go with him. See, Amon-Ra St. Brown underwent cleanup knee surgery in the offseason.
That's cool. That's cool. Let him fall in drafts, and I'll take him towards the end of my first round and double up with another wide receiver.
I want to see how Sharpie be cutting. I want to see how Sharpie hits those cuts.
If you're taking like 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12 in your drafts, and Amon-Ra St. Brown's falling to you at the turn, that's stealing.
If he's falling to you past like 6, that's stealing for sure.
Yeah, that's stealing.
Fall past 6. I can see him dropping to 6 like he did, but yeah, like in these later rounds, that is.
I would have taken
St.
Brown over Lamb.
Huh?
I would take St. Brown over Lamb.
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I guess especially with Pickens going over to Dallas, they're going to be looking for Pickens too.
That's going to take some targets away from him. I mean, it's not going to affect him knocking CD out of the top 5 wide receiver spot, but it's going to definitely impact him all season long as far as targets and his ceiling for fantasy games.
Speaking of the ceiling, we know it gets bright in that dome, so we won't be looking at the ceiling.
That's how Jerry likes it, said. That's how he likes it. Oh, I see. I like that Nico Collins pick. I think people are sleeping on him this year in fantasy drafts with the kind of season CJ Stroud had last year and the injury past he's had. I think he's a steal there at the turn of your draft.
Yeah, I think so too.
Nico.
Oh
yes, man. I take Nico over Puka.
He's definitely the leader.
I don't know if I take Nico over Puka.
Chat, what do you think? Who'd you go, Nico over Puka? Who would you take in your fantasy drafts this season? Where do you have those guys?
Yeah, Stetson Bennett is the other quarterback.
Okay.
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
I said Nico. I spelled Nico wrong. Damn it. Dang, guys.
He's going to take
Siri
Puka.
when you need her to autocorrect you.
Yeah, he's going to take Puka.
Puka? I took Puka. You took Nico?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I got Nico, but I would have.
Yeah, I go Nico. We need a tiebreaker, chat. We got 2 for Puka.
I took Puka because
Nico.
I've never drafted Puka before, and I always look at Puka like, man, I wish he was on my team.
I'm not a Texan fan. I just don't like the Texans. I would take Puka but I've always passed on Nico, and he's done good the last.
Exactly. See, that's how I've been with Puka. I always grab Nico.
Yeah.
I always have Nico on my team, and then he sits for like 4 games because he's hurt.
This next pick, I'm not.
I guess Puka's hurt too, but Puka's hurt.
Next pick, I'm honestly not really sold on it, but just because I'm an Adam Sandler fan, I can't pass on this one.
Bro,
yes, that is official. It's on.
Like Derrick Henry? Oh, God.
Yeah, he was not going to make it back up to you. I'm telling you right now, guys, the more people see that Adam Sandler video, the more they see the official bet. Derrick Henry is stock, redraft, dynasty, his value, his stock has gone way, way up. You know what that challenge Adam Sandler, he's getting 2,000 yards, said, whether you not like it or not. Running that man.
Hey, I'm all for
if you have a championship team, I can see it in Dynasty, but not like
You're saying the Ravens aren't a championship team? Are you saying
no, for your fantasy teams?
Okay,
no, I'm talking about a dynasty championship team.
Are you saying the Ravens are the OKC Thunder of the NFL? Thunder ain't winning nothing. I'm just telling y'all right now.
London?
What?
Drake London?
Who did Jamie go with? Drake London. My dude. Dang, you guys.
Yeah, that's another good pick. He's doubling up on them Falcons. Dirty Bird.
Yep.
I don't know if I do
He's
that.
A dirty bird.
That's a bye week.
How do you feel about running back, wide receiver from the same team? I
guess they're both beasts though. They both eat up points.
They are
because it's not technically a stack, but if you believe in that offense, I mean, more power to you. But traditionally, I don't go running back, wide receiver on the same team.
In a stack, yeah. I would
not at first. Like if I could if I can come around and pick up my second wide
team
receiver.
Team 3's got Barkley and McCaffrey.
Holy what?
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, he gone?
It's back there.
That team's gonna be hurt the whole season. Barkley was on the cover of Madden.
That's not a true thing.
Huh?
He didn't even realize he drafted from the same team.
Oh, Jamie, caught you sleeping.
Madden curse is false.
Is it?
That's yes, it is. There's been plenty of players that have done really well, even though they've been on Madden cover.
We'll see.
We just get simple, or we get focused on the negative easily on that, and notice the people that don't succeed. And since it just happened to McCaffrey last year, now it's fresh in our heads.
Yo, Lad McConkey, that's my dude. Dang, that's
a
solid receiving.
I like Lad. I like Lad.
Some good hands right there.
Too.
Oh man.
Yeah, I couldn't get Henry, so I got to go Lamar Jackson. I feel the Ravens offense is gonna be super inflated for points this year.
So do you prefer wide receiver quarterback stacks over wide receiver running back stacks?
Ooh, I like running
back quarterback I like to get my my number one
stacks. Running back quarterback stacks where it's at.
That'd be cool if more leagues did bonus
back.
points for that. If you had like the quarterback and running back or quarterback wide receiver or quarterback tight end on the same team, you get like half a point. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. I think the best running back quarterback combo would be Chase and Burrow.
Yup. Oh, for sure. We're making sad think here. We took his Derrick Henry. We took his other Raven, Lamar Jackson. What are you going to take? Rashad Bateman, said Mark Andrews. You got to get a Raven here, said.
I know. Where's Lamar Jackson at?
He gone. Took him. He's gone.
Who took him?
Yeah, you know I did. I knew he wasn't going to make it back to me. I knew you were going to take him.
Well, shoot. Take the next best thing, right?
All right, Lamar Jackson 2.0.
That's funny. It's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jane Daniels. How did that work out? The computer was like, I think Josh Allen is the number one quarterback.
Do we still think he's the number one quarterback this year, or what's the temperature gauge?
I know Josh Allen is the number one quarterback.
Oh, I meant Sleeper does said. Sleeper thinks he is.
I know Sleeper's dumb though. Sleeper rankings be crazy on these mock drafts. They did change it like every mock draft.
Did you see that Josh Allen finally got his ring?
What ring?
He got married over the summer.
Oh, yeah. That's the only ring he's gonna get.
Oh, said what takes.
Unfortunately, probably true.
Bo Nix is gonna beat the Chiefs before Josh Allen does.
Oh.
Hot.
I love the confidence, said. I love it.
Hot, spicy. Let me see. So Mike's going to go with the quarterback here too. He's not going to take Joe Burrow or Pat Mahomes. So he's not going to go with a quarterback.
I like Jamie taking Josh Jacobs there because you know that the passing attack in Green Bay is going to probably be the same or similar as last year. So
garbage.
I mean, they're going to run that.
Decent.
I don't know.
Jamie said Puka too. Jamie would take Puka over Nico too.
I would have taken Puka over Nico. That's who I said too.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a cult following behind that guy. There's like people who like Puka. There's people who like Nico. It's kind of like a
Maverick. What you think over there,
Mike? What do you think about Marvin Harrison's ceiling this year? Do you think he has a bounce back season? He breaks the 1,000-yard mark, or gets more touchdowns, or how do you think?
I think that he'll roll in better. He'll have a better connection with Kyle Murray because it'll be a second year. Typically, wide receivers take longer to develop, and I just think that it's going to take longer because Murray was not really. He's also still not really himself, and I think they established a lot. But I think that with full offseason and everything, I think that Marvin will actually be able to step up into a better role this year. They still have really just Trey McBride there.
Marvin Harrison?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Bro, Marvin Harrison still had a decent season last year. I don't know why everybody acts like he has a crap season.
Yeah.
I think it's just because he was
especially for Dynasty with where you invested him in the rookie year. You did a high draft pick for him in Dynasty in his rookie draft.
I think the expectations were just too high. And that's why people got down on it. They expected too much. They're expecting way too much from rookies nowadays, way more than in the past. Usually it took like 2 or 3 years for wide receivers to develop.
Dang, Jamie got that little sleeper.
Plus, he's got pedigree. With the pedigree from his father, like they're gonna have higher expectations. So,
man, oh shoot,
So yeah, so the way you're going in it, you're in the camp of you believe that Marvin Harrison's going to eat into the targets of Trey McBride more than Trey McBride eating into Marvin Harrison's targets. So he'll have the higher ceiling of the Arizona offense.
Yes.
Oh, you're saying Marvin Harrison or Trey McBride?
Harrison. Yeah, I think Marvin Harrison will have more targets over Trey
McBride.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Trey McBride went off. Like he was Kyler Murray's little right-hand man last season.
Because he's been there longer.
Well, he just man, I don't know.
Third year.
Let's see. For points, he had in standard or PPR. PPR 11 points week 1, week 2 11.35, week 3 12.17. He didn't play week 4. Look at this. I mean, he was consistently double digits every week. I think I'd want that from my tight end. And I feel like that was Kyler bailing out. He bailed out Kyler Murray more than not. But he didn't score any touchdowns though.
Yeah, that was one of his major issues. Yeah.
Yeah, he had no touchdowns.
But he had a lot of catches, a lot of targets.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns last year, and 3 the year before, 1 the year before that. So, I mean, I don't know.
Oof.
Bijan or Breece Hall?
Ooh.
Yes, sir. I love Breece Hall. He's my guy.
Yeah, until he was not. Well,
no, I've loved him since Iowa State, his college tape. I just feel like he's on the Jets, and that's what's hurting his value, is being on the Jets.
Yeah, weren't they trying to play? Ooh, and Chuba. Oh, I love that pick. God bless.
Yeah, I'm really high on Chuba this year for fantasy.
That's a pretty solid team, Justin.
I think it's the I went with some frustrating running backs. Let's be honest. Like we have high expectations for Breece Hall and Chuba Hubbard, but both the offenses that they're in, they're frustrating. They're not high-powered offenses. They're not prolific teams. They don't really know if they want to focus primarily on their running game at all or be a passing identity team. But this year, I think with Bryce Young, how he finished the season off strong for the Carolina Panthers and how they've built more around their offensive weapons, adding wide receivers, a tight end, and having Bryce Young have another off season to learn and develop. I think Chuba Hubbard kind of cleared a path through that backfield. Unfortunately, with Jonathan Brooks going out, already done for the season. Miles Sanders is now in Dallas, and he's only got running competition with Rico Dowdle and Trevor Etienne. And I think that he's going to be the workhorse there. And like similar to Breece Hall, he's going to get that workhorse load behind Justin Fields. And if hopefully best case scenario, if defenses are trying to be worried about the RPO with Justin Fields and him scrambling out of the pocket, maybe that translates to, especially in PPR leagues, Breece Hall getting passes out of the backfield or dump offs or just broken play, profit from it.
Yeah, I don't know. Breece Hall with Braylon over there.
Yeah, I felt like they were trying to feed Braylon.
Yeah, that was confusing to me.
And the way
they were bringing him in.
Mm-hmm. The way I see it is not a floor play with both of these players in Chuba and Breece Hall. I see them as high ceiling plays. Those are high risk, high reward players. I mean, you could have games where you're sub 10 points and you're frustrated as hell. And you could have games where you're pushing 30 points and they're helping you win weeks. So I think they're like those dynamite players, I like to call them, where you either hold them in their hands and the fuse is a dud, or you're holding them in your hands and they're popping off and really swinging your matchups. How about you, Sawyer? What did you go with this round? You took a Bronco as the first one. How do you feel about Cortland Sutton this year at the Bo Nix? Is he the number one target, or is Evan Ingram coming to town to take that title over?
Gonna make a Pro Bowl this year. He's making a Pro Bowl. Gonna have 1,200 yards receiving, 12 touchdowns. He's gonna look like Demaryius Thomas out there.
Oh man, Zay Flowers didn't make his way. Oh, I like that pick, Zay Flowers. I really like.
Got my pick. Raven.
Yeah, now it's all up to Sid.
My thing.
But
I got two Ravens actually. I
think Zay
Henry
Flowers
and
is one of those players that, again, he's just high expectations and he was frustrating, but he's shown flashes that he can be a wide receiver 1 in some games, but he's a solid wide receiver 2, especially pairing him up with a Nico Collins and a Marvin Harrison. I like him as a wide receiver 3 option there.
I would run my rookie running back room straight to the championships. This guy's
really, what'd you do? What are you doing over here?
OJ Hampton and Jonty.
Yeah, straight.
Ride him over Najee Harris.
AFC West. Oh,
AFC
OJ Hampton
West.
is definitely starting over Najee Harris. And even he's going to get more touches than Najee Harris. Najee Harris is a bum, bro. We saw him last season.
Yeah, he is.
We saw last season. Come on now.
I think the Ravens rely more on the running game a lot. That's the only reason Zay Flowers also.
They got to, right? To prolong Lamar.
Well, yeah, but why not? Why not rely on it if it's working for you?
Patrick Mahomes. That's the corniest pick I've seen this draft.
How come?
Quarterbacks.
You could have waited till the last. You got Pat Mahomes, and what are you gonna do? Switch him out every week? Oh no, you're not even gonna put Pat Mahomes in until Lamar has a bye week, and then you'll get.
Or worst case scenario, week 1 he tears his ACL, done for the season. Now I just plug and play a quarterback 1 right away.
You see, team 4, team 6.
It's like a State Farm pick there. I got my insurance policy.
Oh gosh, that's the worst.
Throw in Patrick Mahomes, break glass in case of emergency.
You could have picked up Will Howard and been better than having Pat Mahomes as an insurance policy.
Absolutely not. Will Howard isn't going to play this year.
Go get Drake May in the 9th round or something.
Will Howard could play. Aaron Rodgers won't last all season.
Aaron Rodgers, that's what I'm about to pick up as my insurance policy. Discount double check. There we go. That's what I'm picking up next. Aaron Rodgers, new Tim Tebow.
Aaron Rodgers to back up Jay Daniels.
Oh, man.
Damn.
All right. I'm going to take a promo. Let's take a break.
Yo, you want to pause it so my pick doesn't go through over the promo?
Yeah. There we go.
Thank you.
Pause by the commissioner. You see that power?
Pause.
He's got the power.
The power. Oh, I did make a new fantasy report. It's like a little promo.
You did?
I get that loaded over the break.
Oh, that's sweet. Thanks, Seth.
All right, guys, hit that like button. All you guys out there watching, who you drafting? What do you think about these drafts so far? What do you think about the team so far? Let me move this so you can see the teams right there. Team 1, Justin Jefferson, Bucky Irvin, Josh Allen, Kyron Williams, Joe Mixon, Jameson Williams, Chris Olave. Yeah. Team 2.
Yeah, I would definitely take Patrick Mahomes over Chris Olave and Jameson Williams.
No, yeah. Team 2, Jamar Chase, Lad McConkey, Lamar Jackson, Breece Hall, Chubba, Hubba, Patty Mahomes. Team 3, Barkley, McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, Joe Burrow, Kamara, Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Team 4.
Team two has the receivers. Team 3 has the running backs.
Yeah. You got both over there, buddy. We see those point eaters with Chase Brown and Henry. Well, Chase Brown and Collins, I'd say. But yeah, guys, you see the teams. My team's Puka, Ginty, Daniels, Laporta, Sutton, Hampton. That's a championship team right there.
You're relying all on youth there, except for like Sutton.
Except for Sutton, who still thinks he's young.
Yeah.
Right? It's a new school. It's a new wave, man.
It's a new wave. It's new school.
Mm-hmm. We got Jamie teams. Bijan, Drake, Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Hurts, TJ.
He's gonna have to start watching those bye weeks. He's already got like.
I'm curious to see if he goes full Falcons and takes Michael Penix.
Might as well take Michael Penix with that team. And then Mike's team: Nico Collins, Derrick Henry, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chase Brown, Kyron Walker, or what's his name?
Oh, said your team has like 3 players on bye week on 8 and 3 on bye week on 12.
What?
Gotta start watching those bye weeks.
Where are you seeing the bye weeks at?
It's right
now I know where I want to match up against Ed.
Oh, that's what those numbers are?
Yeah, that's what those numbers are. That's their bye week.
I thought that was where they were drafted at. Oh, in parentheses.
Yeah, in parentheses.
Oh.
You gotta start drafting around bye weeks too.
Nah, I ain't afraid of no bye weeks, bro. I'll just draft enough depth to where I can just plug and play.
Like having 2 quarterbacks?
No, 2 tight ends. I don't care about quarterback.
You just take 2 losing weeks. It's fine. Just throw it out there. I have 1 losing.
Zed's gonna go
Hey,
13.
I can't go undefeated, so I might as well lose 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And keep it that way. When are your bye weeks? 7, 8, 10, 8.
Right,
you got
7,
2
8,
8s.
10. I got 2 8s and 2 7s.
2 7s.
Is that Chad, do you think that's a strategy to go for this year in fantasy? Is just embracing like a week or 2 of losing, and if you're gonna run the table the rest of the year, or
well, if you're gonna stack team, I'm not dropping nobody just to pick up some bum player to replace for a week. I'll go ahead and give you some points and still smack you.
You would have just had to take like Neighbors over Nakua or Nico over.
Yeah,
Nakua.
but I don't know about. I know Neighbors is QB
or A-Chain over Jonty.
I'm just not. Nah.
We're exposing Seth over here, just putting them on black.
Right? I'll just go with it. All right, we're gonna
Thanks
take
for
this
tuning in with us, guys.
Well, Team 9 has 4 players on a bye on week 8, so.
Oh snap!
See, they don't care. Long hair don't care.
They ain't afraid no ghost.
Ain't afraid no ghost. Guys, hit that like button. We'll be right back.
My name is Anton Popoff, and this is my 6th year of college football. Training during the hottest times of the day is a recipe for muscle cramps, which is why electrolytes are so important. Hydration is crucial for my performance. Dragon Salt eliminates muscle cramps and boosts your overall energy level. Whether it's a weight room or field session, I fuel up with Dragon Salt beforehand. It's been a game changer for me, and it'll be a game changer for you.
How are you? Bring them things, bring them things. I call the plug, bring them things. I bring them things.
That's money. That's cash up.
Go ahead and hit that like button, guys. Hit that subscribe button and follow Shady Sports Network. We got way more than NFL, but Fantasy Reports is where it's at, though, where we'll be covering your fantasy football leagues throughout the season as we roll into this 2025 NFL season. What up, Justin? What up, Mike? How you guys feeling?
Doing great. Loving this draft so far, and looking forward to see how we finish it off here in the second half.
You digging your team so far?
Feeling solid, yes.
Yeah, you guys think if you had to go to war with these teams right now, you think they'd be ready to go? You're feeling good about them?
Well, traditionally, in majority, and I say about 97% of the leagues I'm in, it don't matter what team I'm rolling out. For some reason, I always hit the bus week 1, and I always eat L's. So more often than not, I'm going with a loss the first week. So a season long, I think I have a sturdy team so far that can run the marathon. But right out the gate, I think it's susceptible to getting hit by that week 1 stunner.
There we go. Mike knows about those marathons.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, he runs a lot. He's always running.
I run a lot.
He runs a
I
lot.
don't run no marathon, so
No?
I just run a lot. No, I
Just
run
run a lot.
Yeah.
I don't run at all, so anything more than that is a marathon for me.
Maybe that could be your punishment this year, Seth. If you're last in this fantasy football league for the show, you're going to have to do a marathon.
Nah,
Ooh,
maybe
that
I'll
would
run
be good.
I'll do a 3-mile run.
That's your punishment, Seth. If you finish,
What's a
Chad, what do you
marathon, like
think
5
about
miles?
Seth's punishment if
10
he
miles?
finishes last in the fantasy report?
26 miles.
How much?
26 miles.
20. Bro, I almost passed out listening to that. Yeah, no.
And you can't just do 3 miles. That's easy for you as a Marine. You got to do at least 5.
All right. I will do 5 miles if I'm last place.
You'll have to run a marathon. You'll have to do
Whoever
a 5K.
is last place will have to do 5 miles.
Hey, I'll match
5K
you.
is only
If I go
3:42.
last place, I'll take the marathon challenge.
No marathon. You're not doing that, sir. But I
You
know
can
I won't
walk,
be
you
last
can
place,
walk
so it
it.
doesn't matter.
And then you have to live stream it, said.
Ooh, not the whole thing. Maybe like the
Oh,
past.
yeah, I know that you're doing the punishment.
What you want to see when like my nose all dripping and stuff, snot's all flying?
I think the wife would love it. Just watch it and just, oh, look at him go.
I would die. I don't know if I can make it through. All right. Okay. If
Well, I
I'm
got my
last
pick
place,
ready.
whoever is last place will have to run.
We'll put it up in the league chat. We'll talk about it. It'll be fun.
We'll get it narrowed down and fixed out, ironed out. All right, let's resume it.
Yeah, let's get going. There we go.
Godwin, you think Godwin's gonna make it back?
I think he will. The signs
so.
and
I hope so.
sounds from the camp so far this season, he's looking to be having an aim 1 week 1 return, and he's rehabbing just fine and recovering well. And I think he'll slip right back into his spot in that offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, one of Baker Mayfield's top targets. And I think he'll showcase his talent. He'll have one of those years where he's because I don't think they extended him, so he'll be playing for a contract, and it could be his last contract going into 30 years of age after this season's put. And if the Buccaneers don't wish to extend him, he'd find a bag somewhere else. But I think he'll ball out with that motivator of getting that contract and just coming back off of an injury and showing us that he still has the numbers to put up for a wide receiver 2 year. Or in this case, I dropped him as my third, so a wide receiver 3. Who did you guys go with? Why is my thing slinging it down here?
Chris Godwin just agreed to a 3-year extension contract.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
He got that bag, said.
Yeah,
Hey,
he did. Like a few months ago,
there we go. So
Okay.
they did draft 2 receivers
back in March. Yeah,
I think
tell
he'll ball
you
out
what.
right off into the sunset this year. Then those rookie wide receivers will take over.
You made a jump for RJ Harvey there, didn't you? Said
No,
What he
you
RJ
what?
Harvey's a
knew I was-
starter, bro.
You knew I was going to take him, huh?
Yeah, he's gonna be a top 10. running back.
Wow. Says
Call
team
right
name is
here.
gonna be the Young Guns Part 4.
Top 10
Yeah.
running back. One of them's gonna hit. One of them's gonna hit. I know Ashton's gonna hit, but I'd have hit.
Well,
I'd
Jimmy
have
got the
him.
best running back in the draft, so good pick there, Jamie.
Who? Josh Jacobs? I was gonna get Aaron Jones.
That's right. Who?
I was gonna get
Aaron Jones.
I almost picked him, but then I saw RJ Harvey and I was like, ooh, dang.
Oh,
Week 12, week
yeah, do we
12,
want to
week
break the
12.
news live here?
Week 12.
Jamie's sneaking in the chat about your Broncos.
What? Did they sign JK? Oh yeah, no, we're just waiting on words, man. We're waiting on words, man.
And you're not afraid that he's gonna be taking some carries away from RJ Harvey?
No, why? Come on, man. We saw
J.K. Dobbins was a solid
We
trade
saw
for
J.K. Dobbins hurt. It was equivalent of half a game every game last season.
I don't think
Last year
Dobbins
for
will
the
actually sign.
Chargers,
He said he might
he's-
sign with Denver, but I don't
Yeah.
think so.
He single-handedly won me multiple weeks last year
Ooh, like
running
that.
with the Chargers. He had an astounding 4-game stretch there in the fantasy season.
Oh yeah, Dobbins was off the chain there. He just gets injured too
He
often.
just gets injured too much. Dang, yeah, but
he's a
we're just waiting
liability.
here.
Oh, very much so, yes.
Man, Team 6 is on a wide receiver tear.
All right, wait.
He's just
Teams on the same bye week. I'm screwed. All right.
wide receiver 6, you want to come for a wide receiver? Come trade me.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't need no
Week
stinking
8. There we
quarterback.
go. I don't even look at the bye weeks, man.
Hunter. There you go. Another 8 and 12. Like you're 8 and 12. Like you're all the way through 8 and 12.
8 and 12. Week 8. That's 2 weeks. I'm definitely going down.
That's impressive, said. I don't know if you're doing that on purpose or if that's
No.
just by circumstance.
Well,
I
they
think
all
8 and 12
seems
are
like
huge
half
bye
the
weeks
NFL
for
has
a lot
the
of
same bye
teams,
weeks
but-
apparently. Uh-oh. Here comes this Indiana comeback. It's about
Who?
the time they start their comeback. Usually best when they're down by 50.
How do you feel about Cleveland's quarterback situation and Jerry Jeudy?
Yeah. I mean, how did you do last year?
Jeudy did great regardless. And Cedric Tillman was actually the guy doing well, and then Jerry Jeudy went off towards the end of the year.
12 touchdowns,
Yeah.
1,200 receiving yards,
I think, do you
or 4
guys
touchdowns.
Do you guys think he's a first man off the bench or a flex player for your teams this year? Like you're not trying to fit him into your wide receiver 1, 2, or 3 spot, maybe a flex option or first off the bench?
Who?
Jerry Jeudy, just based off the quarterback situation, how that offense is going to roll out this season. And I mean, do you think he's going to get anywhere close to his ceiling that he had that stretch last year? Or do you think it's going to be kind of harder for him to match those numbers from a season ago?
Highly depends on the quarterback, but I think he's capable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Let me see. He's didn't he come from Alabama? He was drafted for his route running.
Yeah,
he just didn't really have a chance to do it at the Broncos because they didn't really have a quarterback around the time when he was doing his thing. I like that Jonnu Smith pick for Team 6.
Yes, I really love it. I was debating him or Deebo Samuel.
Man, Ricky Pearsall. That's freaking Superman right there.
I was considering taking him this round.
Who, Ricky Pearsall?
No, Jonnu Smith, so I'd have Ingram.
Yeah. But I'm really worried because I've been hearing rumors coming out of Pittsburgh and the Dolphins that Pittsburgh's trying to, and I'm like, if he goes to Pittsburgh,
yeah, he'd be off my radar too. I'm worried.
I've heard Rodgers throwing to him over.
Nah, man.
Dolphins want to keep Jonnu Smith, so that means they're about to trade him, right? Usually when they come out and say that.
I honestly don't know what the Dolphins are going to doing this year for offense, so I'm fading that offense for fantasy. I'm not really into Devon Achane, Tua, Jonnu, Waddle, or Tyreek. I'm kind of just out.
Older. Speed slows down, man. I don't know.
You can catch him in a race, Ed? Could you race Tyreek?
Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, right.
in his
that could be your
golden
punishment. 40-yard dash against Tyreek Hill, said.
We'll
get him on the show. We'll get him on the show too.
Destroying couldn't even beat him, so I know I couldn't. Destroying's a freaking punter or kicker. I don't know, man. I'm pretty quick though.
That'd be some good views. I know a lot of people would want to see that race over here on the network.
I bet a lot of people would. It's freaking Tyreek Hill. I'd want to see
bus driver versus the cheetah. Let's go.
Bus slow, man. Speed.
Oh, I love the double tight. Yes, that's delicious.
Yeah, but those are some. See if
Ingram and Andrews. That's a solid 4 tight end room. That's like solid 10 points every week.
Man.
Man.
You can't play them both.
Don't hate.
You can't play
Don't
them
hate.
Both. Mark Andrews is nowhere to be found half the season.
You have a flex spot. You can play them both.
Okay. You're going to play him over. Oh, I like that McMillan pick, too. I was going to get him. Gosh.
Oh, who got him? Where would that go?
Mike.
Dang.
So you're going to play Mark Andrews over Kenneth Walker. No.
What?
Probably not.
Yeah. You're going to play him over Zay Flowers?
Well, you never know, Mike. You might have to because Kenneth Walker is known to tear his oblique 3 times a season and get hurt.
All of them are. Let's see.
It might happen, so that's good insurance. I wouldn't mind putting it play. So, for flex positions, depending on how your leagues are built or whatever, are you scared off of playing a strong tight end that's like on a streak or on a roll or doing really, really well throughout the season over a running back or a wide receiver in that flex spot, or are you kind of just reserving that for the running back or wide receiver and not putting a tight end there?
I don't know. I got Jalen Warren.
I would avoid tight ends at all costs unless it was like a Trey McBride or a Brock Bowers that's doing really well, but you're not going to have
like a tight end premium league.
Yeah, you're not going to have 2 premium tight ends like on the same team.
Yeah.
If Ingram and Andrews are both going off, then sure, but I would avoid it.
Because I think that's just a good advice to give out there too for those people who might just be getting into fantasy football this year or just new to the game and not knowing like the dynamic of roster construction yet or how to like set lineups week in and week out, or just what to stay away from and how to properly build a championship roster. So that's some good advice to maybe pump the brakes on drafting 4 or 5 tight ends, or even I don't know how many.
It's easier to
how many
stream
tight
tight
ends do you
ends.
think? Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah, it's easier to stream tight ends. And last year I found Brenton Strange, like he had a solid like 5 weeks when Ingram went out, where he was just cruising. So I ended up putting him in with. There was another tight end that was doing really well, and I had 2 tight ends in it at once because my wide receivers sucked at the time. I'd have to go back.
Yeah, I had Mark Andrews last year and Jonnu Smith, and I had to end up riding Jonnu Smith through the playoffs and the championships.
That's who it was. It was Jonnu Smith. I had Jonnu Smith, and then I had Brenton Strange for a few weeks, and that was.
This is true.
Hitting. People forget Andrews was hit by a car 2 weeks before. Yeah.
No, he was just old.
Oh,
I'm just joking. Yeah, there was that. But I mean,
so Seth, what about you? What do you think as far as like how many tight ends should you roster on your team? Like, do you have like too many, not enough, or like where's the sweet spot for you?
I don't know. I think I try to get as many scores as I can get. So I look for, after I get my first tight end, I'm not necessarily looking for a second tight end. But if there's a good tight end that's available, which there usually isn't, like Mike was saying, I would have to grab them. But there usually isn't reason. I mean, Mark Andrews was a good one because you unfortunately see that with the computers, the auto picks. They weren't necessarily going after tight ends, maybe. So you did have like Mark Andrews slip through the seams, but you usually won't see that. Usually we'll be on the likes of like Njoku and down, under.
Well, sometimes what I'll do in drafts is I'll notice trends, what other people are doing. And if I feel like I'm pretty good set on my roster and I can wait for a few others, I'll pick other people up to prevent another team from having one of those premium or one of those better tight ends so that they're forced to either trade or forced to have to try to string each week to get a tight end because
you can ask for higher value.
No respect. Collusion right there. Just making people have to come to you
because you're cornering the market. Said you're taking those players, so then that gives an edge for you in trade negotiations. They don't really have that leverage because they're looking for that tight end because they don't have one, and you're over here sitting at 4 on the market, and you can ask for a higher premium in return.
Yeah,
you get a higher return.
I'm trying to force them to stream or take losses.
And that premium even goes up higher if they are, have the stones to do it enough a week that you're playing them. Like, hey, I need a tight end this week, and they're playing you. It's like, well, price just went a little bit more up because I don't want to eat the L.
Yeah.
Said sitting here dumpster diving for a rookie. Oh my god! I knew
another rookie. Yep.
Oh my god!
Well, you guys want to
my god!
So he has a week 5 bye now. Now he's on the week 5 bye.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I think he just can't get off of this Colston Loveland guy. He's been drafting him every mock year.
That's my dude.
Oh,
that's my dude.
So you like the 6th receiving option, the Chicago Bears offense?
I mean, well, as my second tight end option, it's okay. If Laporta gets hurt,
so yeah, you won't end up playing him anyways. He'll just.
So what? I'll throw him in on bye week. What week is the bye week for me for Laporta? Week 8. I'll throw in Colston Loveland. By then, he'll have some season up under him, be ready to go and come out, and he might even take over as my starting tight end.
You think so?
Hey. When the Bears are rolling by then, Colston Loveland's out there catching. Colston Loveland's out there catching like 75 yards a game. He has 75 yards a game and a touchdown every other game. Oh man, I'll put him out.
Bears bakery's closed. Ain't no glazing in this shop.
Your quarterback then.
Caleb Wood. See Drake May and Caleb Wood. See
my eyes. They burn.
One of them gonna do good. One of them will hit.
No, I get it though. That's a good. Was it your 3rd quarterback?
It's only 2.
We haven't even talking about Jamie's team.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yeah, I was waiting on quarterbacks because I have a lot of faith in them.
I don't like going into the season as for people just because there's high risk there because of based off the season he had before. I mean, you could have a high reward and the Bears offense hits, and that's great. But if it's not, we saw how bad it is, and having him be your quarterback 1 or your only quarterback on your roster going into the season. You're putting a lot of expectation and a lot of stock in a guy and an offense and a franchise that hasn't had a 4,000-yard passer ever and hasn't had a quarterback that's been prolifically fantasy relevant for
what the world?
I want to
swear I
say
drafted Brock
since
Purdy.
Jay Cutler.
Yeah. Well,
So-
if you compare just quarterbacks to quarterbacks from like highest to lowest throughout the entire season, quarterback averages for the point differential isn't really that much of a difference. So it kind of doesn't really matter what quarterback you have. I don't see it as making a huge difference for your fantasy team overall compared to like having a premium wide receiver or a running back, because there's a bigger difference in points for wide receivers overall throughout the season.
Good
So
point.
I'm willing to take a hit on a quarterback later on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Plus a quarterback, even a mid-range quarterback like Caleb Williams, or maybe he'll be a top-notch quarterback. Even still, like a middle of the line, like 10 through 15 quarterback, they're still gonna get you, 14 to 17 points a game in most leagues. So I'm good with that. Especially if I'm picking it up somewhere else.
Yeah.
If both my running backs are hitting and one of my wide receivers are hitting, then I'm good with my quarterback. If both my wide receivers are hitting, one of my running backs, then I'm good with my quarterback. If maybe both my running backs get hurt, then I hope my quarterback is a beast.
Like the Hurts pick in the 5th round here, that's really good value right there. Because he was able to get good quality in the first 4 rounds and then wait for like the 5th quarterback off the board that late.
So you would take Jalen Hurts over Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Bo Nix, Drake May, Caleb Williams.
I would, but I wouldn't take Hurts over like Kenneth Walker or Zay Flowers.
Okay, yeah.
Because then I still think I could get those points made up later on with another quarterback. Later on.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's my go.
Which rookie are you going after now here, said?
Well, try to take Brock Purdy, and it wouldn't let me last round, so I'll take CJ Stroud.
Well, that's because Team 4 snuck up on him.
No, I picked before Team 4, and somehow it went to Team 4. Stupid.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman should just be an okay pick. A good
Stroud is good.
Stroud's solid. I mean, do we think Stroud this year has a same or equally as worse season as he had last year, or do you think it could be a little bit better?
Dang.
Are we on the offensive line at all?
What? He only dropped 50 points in fantasy football from his season before. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, they did have some transition there on the offensive line. They shipped off some strong veterans, and they brought in some rookie replacements.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just have to see how he starts the season, honestly. I know, he was held out of practice a couple days last week, but I guess that's with everyone. So who knows what's going on with that. But at the same time, like you said, there was a bunch of transition. He still has Nico. Tank Dell won't be there because he's hurt.
He has 2 rookie running backs, and now Nick Chubb.
They got Nick Chubb?
Yeah, he's going to sign on Monday. That's what just happened today.
Yeah, breaking news said you want
physical.
Yep, barring a physical. So Nick Chubb stocks just went up too because Joe Mixon's been known to be hurt. I mean, last year was an anomaly. He was really healthy throughout the majority of the year, but next man up, if Mixon goes down, do we think Chubb could be an effective flex option for fantasy, or are we rostering him?
I can, man. That just changed my outlook on the Houston backfield, quite honestly. That's a
really
solid
backfield. So the backfield's the stock is rising for you?
That's a beast of backfield, man. I like that backfield stock. I would take him
love the
all
kicker
day.
pick there. He was not going to make it back to you because I was,
No.
Damn it.
Wait, they're taking kickers now?
Yeah, it's the last 2 rounds.
We got 2 picks left, Sed.
Oh, I need a defense and a kicker, huh?
Yeah.
But Tank Bigsby's right there.
We shouldn't have said anything. I think Sed legitimately would have passed on both of those.
Tank Bigsby's right there, though. I don't need no kicker.
You're gonna need to drop somebody that you already drafted to get a kicker.
I know.
I think this team was set up too small with only 15 players, though.
What do you mean?
As big as the roster list is, let's see. You have 1, 2, 3.
Is this based off of our league roster
6,
too?
7, 8, 9, 10. You have 10. You have 10 players, but you only have 5 reserve with 2 flex spots, 2 running backs, and 2 wide receivers.
Mhm.
So 5 bench spots. That's not very many bench spots for.
Yeah, but
So-
it's a 10-person league. There's not that many
Yeah.
bench players. There's not that many bench players to go around.
10-person league.
Yeah, you're only gonna have like maybe 2
There's a
or
lot
3
of people.
people on
There's
your bench that you're gonna be using in the first place. Like, I don't think we're stashing. We're not stashing players. That's the whole thing. Is no stashing.
No, you're not. But right now, you
gotta
wouldn't be able to
think
even
about
stash. You wouldn't even be able to stash a backup kicker or
Nope.
a backup defense.
Nope.
Like you're
Nope.
streaming all the way.
Yep. On bye weeks, you better think about your bye weeks out and think about your bench players who you don't need.
Wow,
Maybe who
That's
you're gonna
crazy.
switch out.
that's a tough league right there.
Hey, it's a free league and it's gonna be
There's still
every week.
you still got Nick Chubb, Braylon Allen, freaking.
And that's
Tank
but
Bigsby,
that's
Jerome
good too
Ford is
because then
still
that
on
comes
the-
up when injuries come up when when Saquon goes down.
JJ
they'll be looking to
McCarthy's
get
still out
somebody.
there.
Marvin Mims, Rashid Shaheed, Luther Burton. Yeah, you got a ton of players still out there available.
Just sitting there. Yeah, no, that's the thing. You know what? And then not all those players are gonna get points though. We're talking about these guys like they're points getters. That's why they're still sitting there.
But it's to keep them there so that you can keep them on.
I
your
can go
bench.
get them because I'm gonna need to replace CJ Stroud at some point. So I want to go get JJ McCarthy. And I want to go pick up Bo Nix. Who has Bo Nix?
He was already picked up. He was picked up by the Team 9.
Well, maybe I want to go back and pick up a player after the draft.
Yeah, you'll have to drop one of your other players you already drafted, like Travis Etienne.
Nah, son. Travis Etienne ain't going. If anything, I drop Jalen Warren and Michael Pittman. Those would be my 2
Michael Pittman, huh?
drop candidates.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter only because it's not a IDP league, right? He ain't gonna get that many points as a receiver, right? Is he gonna go off as a receiver? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Who? Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter as a receiver.
I don't know. I like the other wide receiver that they got there, Brian Thomas.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is a good question, though, Seth, because you're forcing people in the entire league to do the same strategy as you and not roster a backup defense or a backup kicker.
See, no kickers of defense. How many no kickers of defense in this? What are you talking about?
Well, in this league, there is.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jamie. Hey, no kickers, no defense. I drafted a kicker though. Oh, it's me again. Gosh.
Yeah, you have to go defense.
Well, that's okay because I'll just take free wins from you because you're losing out on a potential anywhere between 10 and 20 points each week.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, Hey, Seth, you know all about it. It hurts, don't it?
It does hurt.
Wow.
Gosh.
Check out if you're in the Colorado Springs area. Hurts Donuts Company. Get yourself some donuts.
What?
That's not a bad strategy, Jamie.
Oh, when you're out here, you got to try Parlor Donuts if you can. Remember that. They are amazing.
But now we learned something about you, Seth. We learned that you have the disrespect for the kicker and defense.
What? Hey, only kicker I like is that guy from Dallas,
hope I beat you by a field goal this year at extra point. I hope my defense sacks your quarterback to get a win too, just to add some extra salt on that wound.
This guy.
Defenses are so unpredictable.
You can't take a defense that you say you don't like defense. You hit that skip button.
You got to it's like a roll of the dice sometime with defenses. The Steelers defense is usually pretty good all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, I did the special teams. I did the special teams check this year of the draft, and I took the Eagles kicker and Eagles defense.
Well, that's a bye week. You're not going to have a kicker and a defense.
Hey, if I'm not able to stash them, I'm not going to drop them. I'll eat the L.
Yeah, you can stash them and just drop one of your bench players. You can
I
drop
ain't doing that.
Jadon Blue. What's his name?
No, because when he takes over for Javonte Williams by week 7,
why do we think Javonte Williams is washed up, bro? He's 26 years old. He's about to come and have his.
You want to know why I know he's washed up? I've seen his ACLs. They're gone.
Isn't there? Who's that kicker? What's his? Whatever. Not washed up.
You were ready to exile him from the Broncos this offseason.
When he was on the
"Get him
Broncos
outta
team, he
here."
was washed up, but now he's not on the Broncos team.
Now he put
I'm
a
just
star on
telling
his
you.
helmet. He's a god.
I'm just giving you options of who to drop. Share on social media.
Hell yeah. Let's let chat and everybody see our draft. Let us know which team you like, which team you don't like. Give whatever perspective you want. We appreciate the engagement, the participation, and yeah, we look forward to doing the next ones coming up here in the future. Hopefully get some more people ahead of time in the mock draft. We'll send out the mock draft link ahead of time, and maybe we can fill some of these AI spots with some humans and spice up the mock draft. Even if you're not in the league, just come draft with us and have fun building a roster.
Yeah, because it seems like the league is kind of going quiet.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can get everybody stirred back up.
7-team spot, because that's the team you drafted there, Jamie.
Hey, you like the team you draft? I mean, I like the team I drafted.
Yeah, you got it. I don't know about that Garrett Wilson pick. I don't know how he's gonna do here.
Who do you think is going to be more benefited by the addition of Justin Fields in the offense? Do you think it is going to be Garrett Wilson or Breece Hall? For where Breece Hall was taken and where Garrett Wilson is taken, how much of an impact does Justin Fields have on either of those guys in a beneficiary or positive way?
Man, Justin Fields about to go
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall.
Yeah.
So you think it impacts in a positive way more Breece Hall than it does Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, I do. When he was with DJ Moore, I mean, DJ Moore had some good outings, but it was not consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It was very inconsistent. But the running backs
and we saw what happened in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
You know, Pickens didn't really get his until Russ came in. So yeah, I think Breece Hall for sure.
Wilson has done well regardless of quarterback, though.
Mm-hmm. With your roster, Mike, who do you think is going to be the biggest question mark for you going into the season on this roster, and who do you think is going to be the biggest floor, solid, consistent player for you?
The biggest question for me would be Diggs. If he comes back from his injury and then whatever offseason stuff he has, and then rapport, and if he can lead that New England wide receiver room finally, because New England needs wide receivers, I think that would be awesome for where he's picked up right there. That's my biggest question mark. And then for consistency wise, I think I like Derrick Henry.
Oh, he's gonna murder this league this year. He's gonna be a movie star, said.
Yeah. He's gonna be a movie star regardless.
King Henry.
He already got the moniker.
How about for your team, said? Biggest consistent player for you and the biggest question mark from the team you drafted here?
Biggest consistent player, Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
Or maybe is it Puka? Puka sucked last season.
Puka was good last season. What are you talking about?
When he finally wasn't hurt, when he finally came in.
Yeah. As soon as he wasn't injured.
Yeah, my team was a bunch of players that weren't really doing as well as they could, except for Jaden Daniels last season. And then a bunch of rookies.
So who's your biggest rookie?
RJ Harvey. Age 24, height 5'8", weight 205 pounds. From Florida.
Well, weighs as much as me, and I'm like taller. Damn.
Yeah, he's compact, man. It's like a bus coming through on the bus stop.
Until J.K. Dobbins shows up.
Who cares about J.K. Dobbins? It's like Najee over in San Diego or L.A. Like, we don't care about these older guys.
Because you guys are both Broncos fans, I'm actually curious. Who would you have liked them to pick up, seeing these two running backs potentially going to be on teams here in a week or so? Would you rather have seen the Broncos take a chance on Nick Chubb? Yeah. Or do you like them bringing in J.K. Dobbins?
Well, I feel like we actually saw more recent play of J.K. Dobbins because Chubb he didn't really play a whole lot last season. So we don't even know what we're gonna get from Chubb, to be honest with you.
I'd say neither. But if I had to pick one of them, I would have picked Chubb.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would say
as an outside person looking in, I think for what the offense and what they're building there, I think it would be better to have a more veteran, established player and bringing in Nick Chubb over J.K. Dobbins, because I don't see them retaining him to like use him as a primary like 3-down back in that offense. I can see him more utilitarian or gadget and he be eating into RJ Harvey, where Nick Chubb, what you could do is with him is just have RJ Harvey be the workhorse 3-down back. And in case of injury or, give RJ some rest on some drives, bringing in Nick Chubb to spell him and give him a drive or two and not necessarily rely upon him the whole game, which would create a little bit more clarity in that backfield, a little bit more cohesion in the offensive playbook for Sean Payton and Bo Nix to know that, okay, RJ Harvey's our workhorse and Nick Chubb would be our, not change of pace, but just give RJ some, reps off, keep him fresh, keep him rested for the whole season, and given a veteran running back that's a Pro Bowler and has, he's used to be before injury, very effective player, some reps and some go of it still. I just think with J.K. Dobbins, it kind of muddies up the backfield too, because with those other 3 backs they got there, if they're going to try to really incorporate them in, or they're just going to do what the kind of method I said with Nick Chubb and just have him like spell RJ Harvey on drives, which I don't think JK is that kind of back. He's that guy that needs that rhythm, that momentum. He needs to have that time on the field to get some strings of runs together and to break one, from what I've seen, when he's healthy.
Yeah, I like what Jamie said, affecting Estimate more than Harvey, just because Harvey's a rookie. But I would actually honestly avoid the Broncos running back room situation if I could. Yeah.
Okay.
Not this year. Harvey's gonna change that, man.
Sean Payton likes to play his gadgets, and he likes all of his different things. And
interesting.
There's too much inconsistency there, almost like how I always avoided the New England Patriots backfield for the longest.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So you're saying as a whole for fantasy and like dynasty, redraft, everything to just it's probably safer for your roster this year to make a push for the championship to just avoid Broncos running backs?
Avoid Broncos running backs unless it's going to be RJ Harvey at a good price. Like I was going to take him in that round that he took him if I would have gotten down to that.
Would you roster any of them with the thoughts of maybe just getting them in as a flex player or like just to use in case of emergency?
Only RJ Harvey.
Okay. What do you think, Seth? What do you think about your Broncos players?
We saw Estimate.
You rostering the likes of Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, and Cortland Sutton, and RJ and those guys? Or are you like Mike trying to avoid
Ingram, RJ? I say Sutton, Ingram, and RJ at roster.
I have another question, just Denver Broncos related. As we saw Bo Nix go ahead of the likes of Caleb Williams and Drake May, do you think likely that's how the season finishes out, with Bo Nix being above Drake May and Caleb Williams by the end of the year?
Well, he was only second to Jaden Daniels in the rookie class last season, so I don't know why we
I think it's just a good question for those people who are doing drafts this year when they're looking at like a secondary quarterback or a backup of which one of these guys you think
Drake
that will
May
be more effective.
Drake May has some running ability too. We did see Drake May come in and get a whole lot of points in half the time. So
yeah, he didn't.
How do you think they finished between Nix, Williams, May, 1, 2, 3? Mike, where do you got them finishing?
Nix, May, Williams, that order.
Okay. Said
Williams once he goes undefeated in the North.
Just
I was joking. Nix, May, Williams. Yeah.
I have the same. I got Nix, May, Williams.
Overrate that.
Jamie, what do you think? I know you're in here watching. What do you think? What do you got?
Pat Bryant is a good stash. Yep. I like Pat Bryant as a good stash. I don't know. I'm hearing good things about Tony Franklin out of camp. Troy Franklin, yeah.
Yeah. He had a crappy camp last season, so you better have a great camp.
I know. He had too many drops last year. Like great positioning.
Mm-hmm. I think the lights were too big for him.
So for Team 4 here, taking Ashton Genty as their first running back off the board, what ceiling or set? No, wait, sorry. Said took Ashton Genty in the second round.
Right.
Where do you see his ceiling set for this year? Is he a top 10 running back by end, top 7,
definitely.
or
He's a top 8
in
running
the
back
second round? How do you feel about his prospects
the Raiders are about to run him into the ground? I mean,
so you think he has a 1,000-yard season? How do you think he does?
Well, we saw how good Kenneth Walker did. I feel like his rookie season with Geno. I definitely believe that Ashton could be a top 5 running back, quite honestly. And
in that Pete Carroll offense?
Pete Carroll likes his running backs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They also have Chip Kelly as offensive coordinator.
Chip Kelly, yeah.
And he's haunted every day by not giving Beast Mode the ball. So, he's trying to get his running backs the ball as much as possible to keep it flowing. You got to get some youth in, too. That's where your youth is. It's your early pick, so we know they're planning to use them a lot. So I don't know if necessarily
you're confident taking him as high as the second round.
Yeah, I'll take him in the first round.
You take him over Puka Nacua?
No.
Well, that's who you took.
I know.
Who would you take him over in this first round that went in this draft?
I would take him over Nico Collins.
So 10th overall, then.
I would probably take him over Neighbors.
Over Nico.
I take him over Neighbors.
And you take him over Henry.
I take him over Bijan.
That's wild.
Yeah. You take him over Gibbs.
No.
That's what I thought.
You take him over Henry.
No.
Yeah.
So I have him in that light. I have him at the Barkley.
You would have took him over Lamb, though, then.
Henry and Irvin. I take him over Christian McCaffrey and A-Chain.
Yeah.
So I have him as my 5th running back because I have Barkley, Henry, Bucky Irvin, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then Ashton Genty.
So you're not at all worried about the division he plays in, the schedule they have, and just him being an offensive running back?
AFC West.
Exactly.
Broncos going to stop him.
Bro,
that's what I'm saying. He's got to go up against the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Chargers, and then I think they're playing.
Don't the Broncos suck against the running game? Wasn't it like the Browns that ran in the past 2 years? What, the Browns have ran for like almost 300 yards in the Broncos?
No, they passed.
What?
It was all. There was a running back that did.
There was no running back in that game. Yeah. I'm thinking about when.
No, it's a different run. There's a different running back that you're thinking of. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of who it was. I thought it was.
But I feel like the AFC West is built to stop quarterbacks. Yeah. You see it all the defenses. I don't know.
Now, since we talked about him a little bit longer, Mike, do you have second thoughts? Would you, looking back, take Brian Thomas over Nico Collins with Derrick Henry, or would you still go Nico Collins?
I'll still go Nico Collins, Derrick Henry. I'm not really a fan of Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, so that's that. So you like the better quarterback play, even though
I like the better quarterback play and consistency out of it.
And he's
also the Jaguars have Hunter. I don't know how Hunter's gonna Travis Hunter. I don't know how Travis Hunter's gonna play into that with Brian Jackson and the role there of Brian Thomas and that whole wide receiver. Nico is like the number 1 option for Houston, so I think he'll definitely get his targets, and he has the last few years.
And to think about that, I went ahead and took Jaden Higgins in the 12th round here, thinking with Nico's injury history that possibly he could fill in right in that size role for Nico, for CJ Stroud in that offense as a good bench stash on your roster to have in later rounds in case of, not to say it, knock on wood, I don't want Nico hurt or anything, but just to put the eyes on it for people this year drafted in fantasy drafts of keep an eye on these rookies like Jaden Higgins and Trey Harris and Emeka Ibuka along with Matthew Golden of just they might not be early season what you want to see weeks 1 through 5 or 6, but like once those bye weeks roll around, they get a half a season under their belt that they could really start to turn that corner and be more of like flex options for you for making a playoff push and filling in for injuries or bye weeks down the road.
Absolutely. I probably would have even took McConkey over Brian Thomas.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. I'm on the same page there. I got McConkey ahead of Brian Thomas in my rankings. Thank you, Jamie, for that. You got all the deep insight. I didn't really look at that. So he's going to be on the okay.
Other side of Nico, yep.
Because they also took
I think Kirk. They got
Jalen
Kirk
Noel
over there. Well, they got Jalen Noel, but they also got Kirk over there too.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, so that wide receiver room is a little flooded too.
Yeah. Christian Kirk was taking some targets from the slot.
So with them drafting Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins, and they brought in Christian Kirk, do you believe that they feel that Tank Dell is not going to be ready at all this year, or
he won't be ready this year?
Okay, so do you think, that being said, Tank Dell is, because we didn't draft him at all here in the mock draft, that he's essentially off the draft boards this year for the 2025 season? There's no reason to stash him, even if there's an IR spot in your leagues, or?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Tank Dell's that dude though when he comes back.
He's
That's what I'm saying. We've seen flashes of him.
If you have IR spots, then why not? But
there's probably other stashes that'll come back before him though.
Yeah,
that you can put in that spot if you're gonna put somebody in it.
Yeah. Last year IRs were filled at the beginning of the year. Like IR was.
Mine was flooded.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie. He's got his finger on the pulse here. Said, okay,
he will be the same player when he comes back.
I figured he would be out all year.
Technology is different these days.
He got injured late in the year too. I think he had a setback. I think already had a setback.
That's unfortunate because he was looking like to be the flex god, like the savior for your rosters, being in that spot, just busting matchups wide open with that deep ball ability.
Yeah.
So, Seth, do you want to get us in here in a promo, and then how do you see it coming out of the promo? What we got left for us here?
Well, we can talk about your flex options if you have some options you want to touch on.
Okay.
From your question of the week, and
we could also talk about, because like how Mike mentioned it here earlier in the draft, is like talk about some of these players that are still left up on the draft board that would be on waivers, and talk about potential like adding these guys in at some point in the year. Maybe that'd be interesting for people.
Few benefits. Well, that's cool.
It won't show you no more. You'd have to like, it only shows your rosters now. It doesn't show you.
I'm able to see it right now because I haven't clicked out of it or anything. I just go to my team. If you go to, are you able to go to players?
I can see my roster. I just can't go to players.
Oh, you can't see players?
Yeah.
On your computer, you can't. On the phone, you
your computer can't. No, I'm on phone, so I'm able to see players.
On the phone? Okay. Yeah, my phone was. I don't know why the computer is different, but on the phone,
we could talk about it coming out of break, but I can show you. I could run through like the top 5 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends that are still available, and we can talk about who we like out of those bunches. If you're up for that, said
we could. I think we could. We shoot for another.
Yeah, and tell Said that we need a bigger bench.
15 minutes.
Hell yeah.
Well, what do you mean? Like what? One more player?
1 or 2?
Like 3 more players.
Let me see this roster. See, I don't want to click off. Hold on, let me go right here. Look at this.
I'd say 2 for sure.
2 for sure, definitely, but I think 3.
Yeah. We can leave it up for vote. I personally think 2 for sure.
I've tried doing a league like this before, and we ended up having to add players because it just was not working. It was terrible because we had to drop defenses that. Why would you want to drop the number 1 defense?
True.
Or kicker that you have. You can't even have a backup. Like that's not right.
That's true. That's something that we could definitely go over here. in the league chat before the season gets started to work out, because I'm in the camp of
What?
those decisions
One
coming
more
hard for a
bench
player
spot.
coach.
One more bench spot.
Two more bench spots at a minimum.
No.
You need a spot for. Yeah. Because if you think about it, like,
and we have 2 flex spots too.
One, I know you have 2 flex spots. That's why you need those extra space. Because really, like,
quarterback.
One,
we only have one running back. Oh, we have 2 running backs.
There's 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. If you have 1
2 wide receivers,
backup quarterback, 1 backup tight end, 1 backup kicker, 1 backup defense. But if you have these, like, you have essentially 6 wide receivers and running backs, if they have the same buys, like, that puts you into a heck, like, with all the
how many backup running backs do you want, man? How many
if you have these
wide
flex spots,
do you want?
It isn't backup wide receivers and running backs that you have. You have to have a backup defense, a backup kicker, and a backup quarterback.
No, and you have room for that. There's 5 bench spots. So you have 1 backup quarterback, 1 backup running back, 1 backup wide receiver, 1 backup tight end, and then you can choose if you want to get a punter or a kicker or a defense right there in that last spot. You can do that, but we don't need just like eating up spots with players. I think this will be good this way, and that'll keep it competitive, because you'll actually look and have to think about what you're doing instead of just having people sitting there and then thinking about, like, oh, well, I'm just gonna have this person sitting here all year and not even use them.
So I want to paint you a scenario. Let's say
Kyle Williams.
What?
Yeah, of course we would draft those people, but not high. That's why they weren't drafted.
Oh yeah, we'll get into those guys after the break. But
let's take the promo.
Yeah, let's take a promo. We'll get back and talk about it some more. Thanks to everybody tuning in with us. If you're new, please like, share, follow, extend this broadcast out to your friends, coworkers, and family. Get that out there. And if you'd like to, visit the website, check out the merch store, grab some of our gear off there, and enjoy this promo. We'll come back at you after the break.
Check out this guy's giant head. It's like a big apple on a little stick.
Sit close, but not too close. With StubHub, choose the right seat for you.
I just like that one. I don't even.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I got to put the link in the description somewhere. Yo.
Yes, sir. So
we're saying we're having this debate about roster spots.
It's a colorful conversation.
You guys want to just be able to stash these players on your team so you can look out and say, okay, well, I know this person's gonna be popping, week 16.
No,
so I want to have 2 running backs on my bench, and I want to have a kicker too. You don't even need to stash a kicker. You should be streaming kickers and defenses, really. That's how we should make it.
Not if I have Aubrey, who's been number 1.
Yeah, well, if you have Aubrey who gets like 16 points a game, it's a different story.
Still, though, I think I see where you're coming from, and I understand like your thought, like what the process is there. What you're trying to do is create more competitiveness in the league and more attrition on the waiver wires as far as roster building and roster construction. But it really alienates those teams that have seasons where they get 4 or 5 guys injured,
and then you go pick somebody up spots. And then there's plenty of people you can pick up though.
So listen, just for this, in a typical let's see, if you have more bench spots, it leads to more strategic, competitive, and less frustrating gameplay. So for instance, like if you only have 5 like bye weeks, that's a nightmare, right? If you only have 5 spots, if you have like in a typical season, like you could have a starter quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, and a tight end on a bye. That's 4 people that are on a bye. Your bench is pretty much like filled up, right? And you're forced to drop one of those players. And then now maybe you have 2 of them from the same team. Like your team would be a huge nightmare for that because you have 2 bye weeks like that. How are you going to fill those 4 spots? You'd have to drop 4 of those players to fill it in.
Yeah, but it is bye weeks, so
or take passes.
No, because
just take
I have
losses.
players to fill in for those bye weeks. So let's see. Let's go down the list. All right, Puka Nacua, Ashton Genty in week 8 for the bye week. Okay, that's cool. I'll just plug and play RJ Harvey and Travis Hunter, or I'll just look at Michael Pittman, who I already have on my bench right there, and that's who I'm going to play in week 8. And then I'll play Travis Etienne and Jalen Warren in my flex spots. I still have players to fill up for my flex spots because I have plenty of players to cover in those positions. Like you already have multiple upwards on most these teams. You already have over 4 running backs on your team. You already have over 4 running backs along with almost 4 wide receivers, if not at least 3 wide receivers. There's only 2 flex spots. So there's
a couple of those players get injured.
Yeah, if those players get injured,
even with the IR spot,
then deep on the bench, then you go pick up their backup. Then you go pick up their backup. That's the point of it. It's not supposed to be easy so you can just plug your team and go past your starting team. Like if it were I want you to go and you have to think about who you're going to play. Now, if your player is injured, then you're probably screwed. That's your season.
Let's see what's under this scenario, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not dropping my defense and my kicker that I drafted here this week.
You don't have to
this
drop
roster.
them.
No, I'm not going to. So what you're going to have happen, for example, is like you're going to have people not fulfilling full rosters, and you're going to be playing against lineups that aren't fully filled because some people will be choosing not to
one more bench spot. I looked through the rest of my leagues; they have 6 bench spots. So we'll add one more bench spot, and then you don't have to drop your defense. And then your defense and your kicker shouldn't have the same bye week anyway. If your defense and the kicker has the same bye week, then that's your problem for drafting like that. That's the point. It's not supposed to be set up so that you can perfectly just put your team together and leave it there. It's set up so you have to go through and you look and you think every week like, oh gosh, well, you know what? This player's hurt, but I don't like this. Maybe we should take out
I like it,
quite honestly.
I love it.
Yeah, maybe we should.
I'm just saying there's
defense because that's the point. Like the kickers, man, your kicker isn't going to win you your league. Your defense isn't winning your league.
I've won championships with Brandon Aubrey.
When
he put up the 27-point game,
you won the championship.
Yes, he put up 30-point games. I single-handedly made my way to the playoffs.
I want to see a screenshot of it. Let me see your team with Aubrey winning your championship. And then I'll add 10 more bench spots, so you can add every defense on the waiver wire and put them on your team.
And he's the anomaly. I'm just saying he's the anomaly where people who did have him single-handedly won matchups last year because they had the positional advantage.
Yeah, and I had him too. And I had him too with less bench spots. And you know what? I never had to drop him because of a bye week. I just dropped one of my bench players that wasn't getting any points because you know what? They're on my bench and not on my starting lineup because they're not getting as many points as my starters. So they're probably expendable. That's the whole point of your bench player. Your bench isn't supposed to be there to sit there and look exactly the same from game 1 to the end of the season. That's when you sit there and say, oh, you know what? Well, my kicker's on bye. Let me go and let me drop freaking, I don't even know, like Marvin Mims because he's not doing anything. He's my 6th wide receiver on my team.
Because I'm online.
That's the point of it.
I
don't know.
Yeah, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not trying to stir the pot here. I'm just saying there is some people.
Yeah, like
that's
I don't know. I think we should have less bench spots. Quite honestly, we should have 3 bench spots, and then you got to really think about it.
No bench spots.
No bench spots. Just pick your team. And then
isn't that just DFS at that point?
Add cash for waivers. Make people buy their players back.
Ooh, yeah. What is that? Justin knows about the Fab.
Fab is actually good for waivers.
I don't understand it at all, but I just throw money at players.
What it is said is you have a player that you put. So each player on the waiver wire will need to have a claim put in on them. each day of the week. So say like, for example, Marvin Mims is on the waiver wire. So you would click him and add him to be put a waiver claim in for. And on top of that waiver claim, you can either put a $0 bid or a $20 bid. Now, however, if someone else in your league also wants Marvin Mims, but puts in $21 and goes over your bid of the $20, the player would then go, Marvin Mims would go to that other player because they put more money in the bid to claim him than you did, even though you may have a higher waiver priority than him.
I know. I saw it in my dynasty. I put, I think, too much on a player. I think I put $10 on a player. I should have put like $2 on him. Nobody else bid on him, I don't think.
The strategy is to like you're hoping that either no one else bids. You're like thinking, well, someone really bid on this person or not? Like, how bad do you really want them, and is it worth it? And it gives
I've
you
been
an
in leagues where
opportunity,
people,
regardless of where your waiver is at, get that person. Just because
I've seen
doing
people
the best,
go as
why
wild
should
as
you be last on the
throwing,
waiver?
their entire fab week 1 at it and getting that one person. And I've seen people not spend $1 and still make a play. It makes it interesting in the sense of like you're not guaranteed that person you put in a claim for based off your waiver priority.
Yeah.
See, more.
So it means even if you're number 1 on the waiver wire, you still have to put money on there if you think that somebody's going to take that player.
Well, here's the thing.
At least
at
8.
that
That's
point,
what I was saying. At least 8.
With the waiver priority would work if you both put $0 bids in. You would take the player because you're a higher waiver priority claim. So what the fab does is it trumps waiver priority. Unless if there's a tie, if there's a tie in the fab, then it goes to the person that has higher waiver priority claim.
Right. That's why I like the fab. That's another.
And to go off your point, said with the less bench spots, those are like for leagues more like Frankenstein leagues, where like people are like trading between, like after weeks you trade the player that from the roster you beat. So then you end up sometimes having super teams by the end of the year because they're trading their lesser performing players for the other team's higher performing players, and not necessarily relying heavily on those bench spots. But it's a good healthy debate to have for.
I think y'all are just scared of how you draft.
No, because you are right. You have to have confidence in the team that you're drafting and what you have.
You want to grab as many players as you can and hope that 10 of them work out so you can get the most points. That's best ball right there, buddy. Nah, you got to make some decisions. I want some decisions to be made. I don't want this to be simple. I don't want people to just have all these players.
Well, I've been in leagues where like this stuff has come up and it's got to that point where then they just stop setting their lineups because they have too many people on buys or too many injuries and they're not willing to make those team adjustments.
I've been in leagues where we have the larger bench spots too, and there's still injuries.
Yeah,
there's still going to be injuries.
It's unavoidable.
Well, what are we going to do? Are we going to add more bench spots at that point in time? Are we?
No, I'm totally with it. I'm just playing devil's advocate because it creates a healthy conversation.
I am too. I truly want to know. I truly want to know what is the difference between 5 bench spots, 8 bench spots, 10 bench spots, 14 bench spots. Like, what difference does it make if the players are there? They're going to be there. Are you guys afraid that maybe the players aren't going to be there when you need to get a player? Are you afraid that you're going to have to drop a player because they're hurt? Like,
no, it isn't that. So the problem really is that you drafted you drafted those 15 players, and 5 of them are like you're hoping to keep all those players because those are players that you kept. Why would I want to go immediately have to drop? Maybe if they're not playing well.
Well, then that leads to the case of why having that many rounds in the draft.
Yeah. You need some flexibility. Why would I want those guys to be my normal bench players like the entire time?
Yeah, that's why you go through the waiver and you go through the waiver wire and then you find players in the waiver wire and you look and you see. But I'm saying if you already got a whole nother team sitting on your bench because you got 7 more players, 8 more players sitting on your bench, it's a whole different team, bro. They're just gonna sit there they're just sit there a whole season? You're still gonna look through and you're still gonna change them out.
No, it's flexibility and strategy for later if you're planning off of your bye weeks in preparation for that later time period. I don't want to drop some of these players because I know eventually I'm going to need them. Why would I drop them to another team that can pick them up because I don't have room for them and give them a competitive advantage when I'm trying to like keep them from.
So we add 3 more spots, you get to pick up 3 more players, right?
Yes.
Let's say those 3 more players you pick up don't do shit. Then you're gonna trade them out, right? You're gonna go to the waiver and you're gonna look and you're gonna see who's available. But at this point, now that's 30 players taken off of the waiver, right? That's a whole team. There's 32 players on a team or 32 teams in the league or whatever. That's a whole round of players right there sitting on somebody's bench, right? Sitting on these benches. And then now we're looking at the likes of, we really are looking at the Will Howards for your quarterback options. If someone's hurt, you're looking at players that are never going to play at this point in time that you're putting in and you're putting on your team, and they're not even going to matter. Like, let's look at it. Okay. So you add 3 more players per team. There's 10 teams. So that's 30 players. Yeah. So we look down 30 players from this draft. If it'll even let me pull it up.
So here's the 30 players remaining from the mock draft.
Exactly. So let's look at the top 30 players.
I'm just going to go top down. There's Take Bigsby, Emeka Buka, Luther Burden, Rashid Shaheed, Kyle Pitts, Bashal Tootin, Marvin Mims, Kyle Williams, Jalen McMillan, J.J. McCarthy, Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, Pat Freiermuth, Isaac Garendo, Austin Eckler, Hollywood Brown, Zach Ertz, Ray Davis, Hunter Henry, J.K. Dobbins, Tyler Algier, Jacoby Ford, Keenan Allen, Jack Besh, Rashad Bateman, Trey Benson. Did I hit 30 yet?
Probably, bro. I think you're at like 15.
So out of those 30 though, you're most likely if you're trying to prep your team accordingly, you wouldn't have, unless you're streaming, some of those are going to be punters and defenses.
Okay, so
prep in the future, if you're looking at the schedule, you want to have more than one because you're looking at strengths of defenses to store those. And why would I want to drop especially for defenses?
So let's say
I'm trying to plan ahead of time. I want to hold 2 defenses the entire time. Why would
now you want to hold 2 defenses? So everybody holds 2 defenses, right? That's 20 defenses gone right there. Yeah. 20 defenses gone. So you hold 2 defenses now. So somebody messed up. They got 2 defenses with the same bye week. They weren't paying attention. Now they go and look. There's 12 defenses to choose from that aren't going to get any points. Yeah, that's the same way. That's what I'm saying. So it's the same way with having the less spots. It's on you. Like, it is kind of you have to look at your bench and say, hey, well, I'm not using this bench player because they're not a starter. You're
trying to give people that can't draft correctly more of a competitive chance to compete by allowing more people.
Either way you set it up, it's a more competitive.
That's the way you're trying to do it.
Either way,
I'm trying to say you should strategize with the team and the amount of people you have, and not rely on waivers at all. You're allowing people to rely on waivers to be competitive.
Yeah, because there's a lot of players there's a lot of players that you're going to pick up for a week. There's a lot of players that you're going to pick up for 2 or 3 weeks. There's a lot of players that you're not going to use for 4 weeks. They're just sitting there on your bench. What do you need it for if they're not playing? Huh?
To prevent someone else from winning.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a strategy. I'm holding people to prevent you from having a chance to win. You're all for equality. Right?
No.
So from my experience in leagues with shallower, I'm pushing almost 20 years of fantasy football being played here. And from my experience in leagues that have had shallower, I'm just saying, from shallower bench spots, what's happened is either the waiver wires has become completely stagnant and unused because no one's been willing to make those drops or those moves and sacrifice those spots, and which is translated to lower.
Then you build your team.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
You only get points from the team that's starting. You only get.
I understand.
You don't get points from the players that are on your bench. You don't get points from the players that are sitting on your bench. That doesn't count towards your weekly points. So you only get points from the people you're starting anyway. So if you choose not to drop players, because you don't want to drop players because you think that they may be good in week 13, then that's good.
I'm not
that's
saying me personally. I'm saying the experience I've had in leagues where there's been shallower bench spots. What has happened has that teams have refused to use the waiver wires to modify their teams to have a starting full roster lineups week to week. And what has happened has the point system and the point ceilings have gone down because more teams throughout the weeks have chosen to use their roster spots to leave in bye week players or injured players and sacrificing points scored and playoff seeding in order to retain those star players or those players that they have that they drafted on their teams, so that the people that get drafted or picked up off the waiver wire don't get picked up by other teams. So what it creates is a competitive, like, imbalance in leagues where then now you have teams who aren't starting tight ends because they're just letting them rot on bye weeks and stuff, and it really creates a division amongst how certain players play fantasy football in leagues, and can create very let's say divided leagues because you have those people who want to compete and for it to be competitive, and if there's people who choose to play it a certain way like that, really kind of disenfranchises and lowers the integrity of the league by not making that. At the end of the day, you can't force a team to do what you want them to do. It's their team. They're going to do it. And whether or not you're going to allow or let them run their team that way in your league is ultimately your decision. But then it comes into the whole conversation of how you want to continue having rosters be run on the league. You know, like, ultimately it comes down to if they don't have the willingness to like work and do that system in the league that you have implemented, well, then you run into a problem of how the league is going to operate in general. Because
all right, we'll do 8 roster spots. It's fine. There's
you can keep
we'll do 8 roster spots.
We can keep it. Don't like. There's arguments to both sides. Said like,
it's fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not one way or other. I'm fine playing with less bench spots. That's going to have to make me change my strategy. But I'm also fine if it gets increased.
8
I just like to know whichever way it goes. How because then.
Well, like you said, it doesn't encourage roster movement. It doesn't. No one's going to use their waiver wire. Points are going to be lower. So,
I'm not trying to like sway the conversation either one way. I'm just saying.
You did though. You literally just spent 5 minutes saying it one way.
Okay, I've seen it been that way too, but I've also seen it being a way where I didn't get to the other side of it.
Your way does prevent people from hoarding talent.
It's fine. We got 8 roster spots, so you guys got what you want. So get as many players as you want. If you want more roster spots, let me know. Let's do a promo, and then we'll wrap it up, guys. All right. Welcome back. So you guys see it. How many roster spots do you guys have in your league? And why should we not have 25 roster spots in this league as well too? Let's just make sure we get the entire waiver wire on our teams. That way you don't have to drop anybody. And we should have enough room. You guys can pick up maybe even 3 kickers on your team if you need be. Just in case.
That'd be great.
In case your kicker gets hurt, you don't want to have to drop that kicker and lose out on those 11 points.
So we have 7 in our other league, which has smaller starters, which is fine.
In which one?
That's the foosball on American. But we also have IDP. We have defense, so that is a difference. So you can't really. It's hard to compare all these leagues, and when you're looking through these, you have to, and you're asking questions, you have to put in the entire what the actual starters are, because that does make a difference. There's arguments for both sides, and if you do want to make it more challenging and make it more focused, like what you're trying to say, that's fine. But there's gonna be people that refuse to try to go with that, and they're gonna have to take those L's, and that's so I understand it. I personally have been in a couple of those leagues, and we've always ended up adding bench spots, and it's never worked the way that I thought it would with those less bench spots. Even were you in my league? Weren't you in my league?
We have 6
where we had
spots in that one.
Yeah, the first year we didn't. I think we ended up adding halfway throughout the year because no one was able to keep up with the stuff. That Fantasy Addicts League, right? We ended up having to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. No, there's 7 in there. There's 7 now, but there was 5 the first year. We ended up adding 2 because it just wasn't.
We will keep adding.
That's the exact. That was it.
Number. It's fantasy. We'll add them all. I'm sure they'll add another team sooner or later too.
Another team? Oh, 11, 12 teams?
Yeah. So hopefully. And then we got to trade. Then you guys better be willing to trade. That's the thing about it too. When you have more bench spots, people will have to be willing to trade. You guys, you say the argument for not wanting to drop players, but people don't want to trade players that they don't use for 4 or 5 weeks as well too.
Yes,
it goes both ways. But I mean, we don't see that, I guess, as well either. But I mean, that's the thing too. And if people aren't responsive already, you hope that people are responsive enough to make those trades. So that was the reasoning behind having more of a waiver wire.
Okay, well,
focus.
Go in between. Don't go all.
Well, I was trying to explain it, but it just seemed like I was hitting a brick wall every time I kept trying to say it. I don't know. It just seemed like it was a complicated thing for you guys to comprehend. So, you guys have been the ones that have been, kind of showing up for the league. So, say that you're the spokespeople for the league, right?
Yeah. No, I know. I have a personal preference. That's the only reason, but I understand the other side of it. And you're right. You needed your opportunity to try to explain that. And that's what I was seeing. I just wanted to see if you understood the other side of it.
No, I totally see the other side of it. But that's it. The more bench spots you have, then the more you have to worry about trading, because then there are more available players that people have on their roster. That's the only difference. So the more active it has to be. That just has to be more of a group effort, which is the hope and the dream for this league. But, Yep.
Through personal experiences, it's been frustrating and difficult to get other people to do that. They don't all have that same mindset. And that's basically what Justin was trying to say, that it's just not everyone thinks that exact same way, but we can always continue to try it. It's different.
I totally see the other way. And that's,
different people, so you never know. Because you can always add back in later. Doesn't matter. Like, you can start off that way, and if it isn't working, then you toy with it.
And you guys forget too, this is already discussed when we created the league months ago. We didn't just create the league with the mock draft today. So
yeah, I don't remember seeing the bench spots of 5. I thought I saw more. So I must have definitely overlooked or missed that when it was established.
Let's see. Sure we can find it, but we did talk about it. Either way, good draft, good mock draft, guys. This is a good one. We'll get the others going. We'll update everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight for an exciting episode of Fantasy Reports, an exciting mock draft. We had some live on-air debate, which is super fun, right?
I love the passion.
Right.
Lions are maybe going places this year, hopefully.
Who?
Who dat? No.
Who dat?
Bengals.
Bengals need a defense. Nah, good one. All right, guys. Jamie, you got anything? Justin, you got anything? I mean,
I'm checked out. I'm ready to go.
all right, cool. Sounds good. Mike, thanks for joining. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And you guys, thanks for watching us. Jamie, thanks for coming on. We'll have to get you in the league, man. So you get these notifications anyway. Don't have to get you on last minute. If anything else, guys, hit that like button. Head on over to Shady Sports Network. Go on and subscribe. Catch the other episodes. And we'll see you guys next week. Looks like OKC pulled it out finally. So congrats to them for messing up my parlays. Have a good night, guys. Until next time.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.